Something happened in the Middle East that the entire world is still trying to process. Iran launched missiles. Not toward a city, not toward a border crossing, toward one of Israel's most protected and most critical military installations, Nevatim Airbase. And the moment those missiles were fired, two completely different stories began. Iran's version, a historic military success, a precision strike that reached deep inside Israeli territory, a message that no target is off limits, a demonstration of power that redrew the lines of this conflict. Israel's version, a complete defensive victory, missiles detected early, interceptions launched in seconds, the base standing fully operational. Two sides, two opposite stories, and somewhere between them, the truth that the world is desperately trying to find. Let's break it down from the very beginning. When Iranian state media first broke the news, the language was bold. Military commanders stepped forward with confident statements. They described the operation as precise, powerful, and successful. According to Iranian officials, multiple long-range missiles were launched and directed specifically towards southern Israel. The target was Nevatim Airbase. Iran's choice of target was not random, it was calculated, it was deliberate, and it was deeply symbolic. Because Nevatim Airbase is not just any military facility. It sits deep in the Negev desert in southern Israel. It is one of the most strategically important installations in the entire Israeli Air Force. The base hosts some of Israel's most advanced aircraft. It supports long-range air operations. It plays a critical role in intelligence coordination and strategic planning. For Iranian officials, striking Nevatim was a message, not just to Israel, but to the United States, but to the entire world. The message, we can reach your most valuable targets. Your most protected assets are no longer safe. Iranian media outlets broadcast these claims for hours. Military spokesmen appeared on screen with detailed accounts of the strike. They claimed that several long-range missiles successfully reached the base. They claimed that critical sections of the facility suffered serious damage. They called it a turning point in the confrontation. But then, Israel responded, and the story shifted completely. Israeli defense officials stepped forward with a very different account. According to their statements, the country's air defense network detected the incoming missiles long before they could approach their targets. The detection systems tracked every trajectory, every launch, every incoming threat. Israel operates one of the most advanced multi-layered missile defense architectures in the world. These systems are not built to handle one threat at a time. They are designed to engage multiple incoming missiles simultaneously, at different altitudes, at different stages of flight. Long-range interceptors are designed to destroy ballistic missiles high in the atmosphere before they begin their final descent, before they can reach the ground, before they can cause any damage. Israeli officials stated clearly, once the launches were detected, defensive systems activated immediately. Interceptors were launched. The incoming missiles were neutralized before reaching Nevatim Airbase. The base remained intact. The base remained operational. And United States media outlets backed up this version of events. Reports citing Pentagon officials described the defensive systems as functioning exactly as designed. Some debris from intercepted missiles may have fallen in surrounding areas, but the core infrastructure of Nevatim, the runways, the hangars, the operational command centers, remained secure. Two completely opposite accounts of the same event. And that gap, that space between the two narratives, is where this story becomes truly important. In modern warfare, competing narratives are not accidental, they're strategic. Each side crafts a story that serves its own goals. For Iran, a successful strike strengthens deterrence. It tells regional allies and global audiences that Iranian forces can reach high-value targets deep inside enemy territory. That message carries enormous value, politically, diplomatically, and militarily. For Israel, emphasizing successful interceptions serves a different purpose. It reassures the Israeli public that critical infrastructure is protected. It reinforces confidence in the air defense systems that have been developed over decades. It signals to adversaries that offensive strikes will be defeated. Both sides have strong reasons to present the story in the way they are presenting it, and both sides know that the world is watching every word. But here is what we do know, without question. Missiles were launched toward Israeli territory. That is not in dispute. The act of launching those missiles, regardless of whether they hit or were intercepted, carries serious strategic meaning. It means Iran made a direct decision to target a specific Israeli military installation. It means the threshold for direct confrontation has shifted. It means this conflict has entered territory that few analysts predicted would come this quickly.
Now, to understand why Nevatim matters so much, we need to take a closer look at the base itself. Nevatim Airbase is located in the Negev desert, away from population centers, but at the heart of Israel's long-range military capability. The base has been associated with some of the Israeli Air Force's most advanced aircraft programs. It plays a direct role in Israel's ability to project air power across the region. Long-range missions, strategic planning, intelligence operations. Because of all of this, Nevatim has long been considered one of the targets that an adversary would want to reach most. Disabling it, even partially, would have significant consequences for Israel's operational military capacity. Iranian commanders clearly understood this when they selected it as their target. The symbolic and strategic value of even attempting to strike Nevatim is enormous. Even if every missile was intercepted, the message of the attempt itself was sent. And that is exactly the point. In this kind of conflict, perception can be just as powerful as physical damage. Military analysts around the world immediately began working to determine what actually happened. Satellite imagery plays a critical role in these situations. High-resolution images taken after an incident can sometimes reveal visible changes to infrastructure. Damaged runways, destroyed hangars, craters, or debris fields. But this kind of analysis takes time. In the immediate hours after the reported strike, definitive conclusions were still impossible. What was clear, the world was paying attention, and the tension in the region had risen sharply. Regional governments began monitoring the situation with extreme urgency. Any direct missile exchange between major regional powers raises serious concerns about wider escalation. The risk of miscalculation increases dramatically during moments like this. Financial markets began reacting cautiously. Energy traders watched closely. Policymakers in Washington, London, Brussels, and beyond began assessing the implications. Instability in the Middle East does not stay contained to the Middle East. Oil markets feel it. Global supply chains feel it. Diplomatic relations feel it. And so the question that every analyst, every government, and every observer was asking became the same question. What happens next? Does this remain an isolated incident, or does it become the opening of a new and more dangerous chapter? History gives us some guidance here. Moments like this, direct strikes on strategic military installations, rarely end with a single exchange. They change the rules. They change the calculations. They change what each side believes the other is capable of and willing to do. Israel has consistently responded to attacks with force. That pattern is well established. Iran has consistently framed its military actions as defensive responses to what it describes as Israeli and American aggression. That pattern is also well established. The danger, when two sides are both operating within narratives that justify escalation, is that neither side sees a clear reason to stop. And in that environment, a missile launched at a military base in the Negev desert can become the start of something far larger. Technology also plays an enormous role in how this unfolds. The race between offensive missile systems and defensive interception systems is one of the defining dynamics of modern warfare. Offensive systems are being built to travel farther, to fly faster, to change trajectory mid-flight, to overwhelm defensive batteries through sheer numbers. Defensive systems are being built to detect earlier, to intercept at higher altitudes, to engage multiple threats simultaneously, to minimize the window of vulnerability. The alleged strike on Nevatim is a live test of both sides of that equation.
If Iranian missiles were intercepted, Israel's defensive advantage was demonstrated. If any missiles reached the base, Iran demonstrated that even Israel's most protected installations are not perfectly secure. Either interpretation carries strategic weight. What is not in doubt, this event has permanently changed something about this conflict. Before this moment, there was a threshold, a line that neither side had crossed in quite this way. That line has now been crossed, and whatever comes next will be shaped by how each side chooses to respond. Israel faces a decision. Does it respond with a counterstrike? Does it absorb the incident and allow diplomatic channels to work? Does it respond in a way that signals capability without triggering further escalation? Iran faces its own set of questions. Did the operation achieve its strategic goals? Did it strengthen deterrence or invite a response that Iran may not be prepared for? These decisions are being made right now, in secure rooms, by military commanders and political leaders, weighing options that will shape the next phase of this conflict. The world is watching Nevatim Airbase, not because of what the base looks like from a satellite image today, but because of the decision to target it. It represents a conflict that has moved beyond rhetoric, beyond proxy engagements, beyond limited exchanges. It represents a direct challenge to one of the most strategically vital military installations in the region. Iran says it struck a blow at the heart of Israeli air power. Israel says its defenses held firm. The truth, as always in moments like this, is still being written. But one thing is absolutely certain. The Middle East today is not the same as it was before those missiles were launched. The stakes are higher, the calculations are more dangerous, and the next move, from any direction, could define this conflict for years to come. Stay with this story, because it is far from over.